and welcome. This is Miss Heard with Miss Heard Song Lyrics Podcast. We're at Season 5, Episode 251 with our first ever Miss Heard Song Lyric from Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. The Miss Heard lyrics are, I love Rocky Road. And then the correct lyrics is, I love rock and roll. Pretty close, right? Well, it's another Miss Heard Song lyric that I had no idea was an actual cover. But before we get into that, another reason for this Miss Heard Song lyric is definitely driven home by a 1983 song by Weird Al Yankovic about a man's obsession with Rocky Road ice cream that parodied the song. So that's probably why people hear it, sing it this way, because also that came out about a couple years after the actual cover by Joan Jett and the Blackheart. So we'll get into that. So let's talk about Rocky Road ice cream. Are you a fan? I could eat it. Marshmallow for me is here and there, but it's actually a chocolate flavored ice cream. There's a lot of variations from the original, but traditionally comprises of chocolate ice cream, nuts, and whole or diced mushrooms. That's Rocky Road. And apparently, according to one source, this actual ice cream flavor was created back on March 1929 by William Dreyer, Dreyer's Ice Cream, in Oakland, California, when he cut up walnuts and marshmallows with his wife's sewing scissors. I don't know why he used the sewing scissors. Maybe that's the only scissors he had close by him, and added them to his chocolate ice cream in a manner that reflected how his partner Joseph Eddy's chocolate candy creation incorporated walnuts and marshmallow pieces. So that's one source. Later, the walnuts were replaced by pieces of toasted almond. And then after the Wall Street crash of 1929, both Dreyer and Eddy gave the flavor its current name, quote unquote, to give folks something to smile about in the midst of the Great Depression. Rocky Road makes sense. Then there was another claim. Fenton's Creamery in Oakland, California claims that William Dreyer based his recipe on a Rocky Road style ice cream flavor invented by his friend Fenton's George Farron, who blended his own Rocky Road style candy bar into ice cream. However, Dreyer substituted almonds for walnuts. The original Rocky Road ice cream used chocolate ice cream with no chocolate chip pieces. And by blending numerous ingredients such as the chocolate ice cream, nuts, marshmallow, the Rocky Road flavor was one of the first types to mix in materials together. And this style was developed by Dreyer's lead chemical engineer and dairy chief, Noah Holliday, and proved difficult to produce due to the nature of freezing and preserving various mixed ingredients. That makes sense. And over the years, after the inception of the flavor, many companies would try to imitate or mix in other ingredients such as various nuts, fruits, and toppings, but the original combination proved to be the most popular. There are variations out there, such as Breyer's brand version containing a marshmallow swirl as opposed to regular marshmallow. So there you go about Rocky Road ice cream. Let's get back to the song, I Love Rock and Roll. It's a song written by Alan Merrill and Jake Hooker and first recorded by a British rock band in 1975 called The Arrows. That I did not know. I just assumed Joan Jett and the Blackhearts wrote it and they were the only ones that sang it, and they're actually a cover. So 1981 comes along. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts released as their first single from her album of the same name, and it became Joan Jett's highest charting hit, reaching #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became the #3 song for 1982. The single was certified platinum by the RIAA, which stands for the Recording Industry of Association of America, representing 2 million units shipped to stores. And again, that's the time when you had to actually pick up your album or what have you. You couldn't just download it. Jett's cover was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame back in 2016. It's about 8 years ago. Let's talk about the original. So who are the Arrows? This song was originally recorded and released by the Arrows in 1975 on Rack Records, with Merrill on lead vocals and guitar and Mickey Most producing. I love the name. Merrill actually wrote the music and lyrics while he was living in London at a Nell Gwynn house in Chelsea. He gave co-writing credit to Hooker as part of settling a debt. So, made it right. The big did you know is in an interview with Songfacts, Merrill said he wrote the song as, quote unquote, a knee-jerk response to the Rolling Stones, it's only rock and roll, but I like it. That's pretty good to know. This version was first released on the B side, but was soon re-recorded and flipped to the A side on a subsequent pressing of the record. The Arrows performed the song in 1975 on the Muriel Young produced show 45, after which Young offered Arrows a weekly UK television series called Arrows, which was broadcast on ITV or LTV back in March of 1976. Now, the band itself, called the Arrows, were based in London, England, and the group, which formed in 1974, actually disbanded 3 years later in 1977. It included an American singer bassist Alan Merrill, American guitarist Jake Hooker, and an English drummer called Paul Varley. The original drummer, Clive Williams, was replaced by Varley, and I love, you can definitely tell that's definitely an English name with Clive. They had UK chart hit singles in 1974 and 1975 with Touch Too Much and My Last Night With You, produced by Mickey Most on Rack Records. They also, of course, this was the impetus. This is the original version and then later covered by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and that's why we're here today. So let's talk about the Joan Jett cover. So apparently Joan Jett saw the Arrows perform I Love Rock and Roll on their weekly UK television series Arrows. Remember, they were offered a weekly series while she was touring England with the Runaways back in 1976. The Runaways producer and manager, Kim Fowley, it's a man, by the way. It's one of those names where it's like, is it a man? It's a man. Had the band learn the song in the summer of 1977 during the brief period when Vicky Blue had replaced Jackie Fox as the bass player and Sherry Curry was still the group's vocalist. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole Jackie Fox thing, but there's some disturbing details. So if you look up Jackie Fox Runaways, you'll see what I'm talking about. So go there. Then Jett first recorded the song in 1979 with two of the Sex Pistols, Steve Jones and Paul Cook. That I didn't know either. The first version was released on vinyl in 1979 on Vertigo Records as a B-side to You Don't Own Me. Then in 1981, she re-recorded the song, this time with her band, the Blackhearts, and this is where she struck gold, literally. The single was released in late 1981 in Australia and New Zealand by Liberation Records and by Boardwalk Entertainment in Canada. This is a recording that, like I said, hit gold, a U.S. Billboard Hot 100 #1 single for 7 weeks and being the only one for the band. I did not know that. So let's talk about Joan Jett a little bit. She was born Joan Marie Larkin back on September 22nd, 1958. Of course, an American rock singer, guitarist, songwriter, record producer, and actress. There's a movie she did with Michael J. Fox back in the day. She's best known for her work as the front woman of her band Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and founding and performing with the Runaways, who recorded and released their hit song Cherry Bomb. With the Blackhearts, she is known for her rendition, of course, of I Love Rock and Roll, which we now know has done quite well, was in the Billboard Hot 100 for 7 weeks in 1982 as #1. Her other notable songs include Bad Reputation, put a pin on that one, Light of Day, I Hate Myself for Loving You, and her covers of Crimson and Clover, and Do You Want to Touch Me? Oh Yeah, and Dirty Deeds. She has been described as the Queen of Rock and Roll and was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 2015. So about 9 years ago now. Have you seen the music video? Lots of downloads, views, what have you. It was produced by Barry Rawbag and received heavy play by a new startup network back in the day. You might remember them, MTV. And I remember this as a youngin' when it was being replayed over and over. It shows Joan Jett and the Blackhearts traveling to a small, they say dingy bar, and then exciting the drunken crowd by performing the song and yelling its chorus. Before the song of I Love Rock and Roll plays, you do hear a little snippet of Jett's 1981 hit, Bad Reputation. Bad Reputation can be heard at the beginning of the video. I didn't realize that that's playing at the beginning of the video. Then the video goes on with the actual song, I Love Rock and Roll. The thing I did not know after doing some research is it was originally this music video in color, but it was actually converted to black and white because Joan Jett hated the look of her red leather jumpsuit. Did you know that? I didn't know that. That's so good to know. I just thought black and white, it's so punk rock, you know? And then in 1983, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts made another music video for the song as part of the Wayne's World 2 soundtrack. The video showed scenes from the movie with Mike Myers and Dana Carvey, mixed in the footage of Jett and her band in a fake concert filmed in Irving Plaza in New York City. So there you go. It's not about Rocky Road ice cream. I do love a Rocky Road. Not one of my favorites, but I will eat it. It's about the cover done by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. So if you have any great misheard song suggestions like this, always send it to us via our Facebook, social media sites, Insta, as the young'uns say, X, formerly Twitter, and of course, old-fashioned email at misheard, MISSHEARD songs @gmail.com. Till then, keep singing the songs wrong. Bye.